What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. This is, of course, the Trust the Bank podcast. Myself and Joshua are back. The Ravens draft is over. You saw our reaction to the Malachi Starks pick. This is our full NFL draft discussion. A lot of topics. Comment down below any thoughts that you guys have on any of the picks, any topics you want us to cover in the upcoming segments, because, again, this is a weekly show that we do every year. So make sure to comment what you want us to talk about. But starting off, I'm going to ask the question, who is the most impactful rookie this year in this draft class? Who are you thinking, Joshua?
Oh, man. I know on draft night I talked about, secondary and how the AFC North is, gearing up to have some of the strongest, maybe best wide receiver cores in the NFL. But in all honesty, man, I got to go with the best player in this draft, and Mike Green. And people can argue with me, Abdul Carter is that guy, but he ain't no Michael Parsons. And I'm gonna be real, he ain't no Michael Green. He ain't no Mike Green. We haven't had a edge rusher in a while that has a motor like a Jahi Ward, or can get after it like a Terrell Suggs, or just be nasty like an Elvis Dumerville. Now, granted, Adafio Way, I'm not taking nothing away from him. Shout out to him. But it took close to almost 4 years to see this Adafi way in top. I wouldn't even say top form yet. It's peak. We saw a little hint of what possibly could be. And now the fact that he's up for contract extension, I believe as well. This is the last year of his rookie contract. That he could be somebody else that could be, walking out the door after this upcoming season. I hope not. I would love for him to still be in the black and purple. But, when we look at certain things, as far as that defensive side of the ball, secondary has been, what it's been. But sometimes, that front seven is where you really need that push, where you really need that edge rusher. And Mike Green is a natural guy that can get after it. You don't really have to worry about developing him. If anything, his weaknesses will become his strengths, if anything. He will maximize on his strengths with a team like us, and having a Zachary Orr, and also the edge rusher whisperer. I believe he's still in the coaching staff. I can't remember his name off.
Yeah, I think his name is Chuck Smith.
Okay, I believe he's still in the facility. Coaches salivate over a guy that is just a monster, a beast that can make things happen. So I feel like with certain guys kind of lingering around. We didn't really see much of a decent Isaac. David Ojabo was here and there. Calvin Noy, he'll be with us, but you still want somebody young, somebody fresh, somebody that can really get after it, and and it takes pressure off your secondary. Your front seven is supposed to take pressure off the secondary. So I think Mike Green is going to be the most impactful rookie.
Yeah, and I think Mike Green is a terrific option. I think when I look back at the history of the Ravens drafts, in the last 15 years, right, we've been looking for edge rushers almost every year. And it never feels like we can get that superstar, right? And even when we draft edge rusher in the first round, the expectation is like, if you're getting like a superstar edge rusher, you're probably getting them top 10, top 15, or at least they're the first edge rusher off the board. Like, you think of all the stars, right? Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, right? There's one that slid, and he's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. That's TJ Watt. He did slip a little. Everyone looks back at it like, how did we not draft TJ Watt or JJ Watt's brother? Like, what are we doing? And when you get these superstar pass rushers that aren't these top 15 picks, it's like, dude, what did we miss? Or like something had to have happened that made them drop. And in a bad way, luckily, right, Mike Green fell. And so, but he has the talent, right? A lot of people thought that this guy was edge rusher 2 in the class, right? And had the potential to be edge rusher 1. He might have the highest potential in this entire draft class for pass rushers, but he fell. And that is like the first time maybe in the history of the Baltimore Ravens where we've gotten a guy where we're like, yo, this guy could be the best pass rusher in the NFL at some point. Not saying it's going to happen this year, but this guy could come out and win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't necessarily expect that. I feel like I'm expecting kind of him to be the third down pass rush specialist, get us 5 to 7 sacks, but he's not out there every play. Now, if he's out there every play, I think he could be a double-digit sack guy. I just feel like we salivate over Calvin Noy and Adafe, so I just don't feel like we're going to necessarily use Mike Green as much. But my most impactful rookie is probably going to be a little bit of a weird pick. It's not going to be Malachi Starks, even though I think Malachi Starks will make a huge impact. There was one position last year where it felt like, man, we need it. That position was kicker. Every time we lost a game, it was, man, if we made those kicks, we were good. Like, we had, what, 5 losses, 22 combined points.
I was about to say, like, 22 combined points, man.
Field goals. Like Tyler Loop,
yeah.
If Justin Tucker is gone, right?
Yeah.
You can't win the Super Bowl without a good kicker. He doesn't have to be Justin Tucker. He doesn't have to be the greatest kicker of all time. But if he is a good kicker and he has the range, which we've seen, he's hit, I want to say 62 was his career high at the University of Arizona, which is good distance. If he goes out there, and a lot of people look at the field goal percentage and they're like, oh man, that's not going to translate well because he was only like 83% for his college career. College kicking is actually a little bit more difficult because the hash marks are so much wider. You can actually get much more difficult angles. The NFL hashes are a lot smaller, so you're able to have much more straight on kicks. So that does help the kicking game a lot. It's like helps the kicking game and it helps the offensive schemes because a lot of offensive coordinators hate the fact that like you get like 30 yards to your right and then 10 yards to your left sometimes when you're snapping the ball. But I feel like Tyler Loop right now is my most like, hey, this guy, like as good as like Malachi Starks can be, as good as Mike Green can be. I don't think there's ever going to be a situation when we're like, it all rides. Like this game, this playoff game rides on your shoulders. But Tyler Loop, the games could be riding on him. Like this could be the guy that we need. So I feel like Tyler Loop is like my sneaky pick for most impactful rookie. Like if we get if we get average Tyler Loop, which is 5 50+ yard field goals in a year, that's pretty good. And then you get 85, like you up until like 85% field goals. That's about average in the NFL with really good distance. Like that's like, because a lot of rookie kickers come in and you're like, oh no, this guy sucks. like Roberto Aguayo drafted in like the 3rd round. And Jake Moody struggles a lot. He was drafted in the 3rd round as well. And you're like, oh man, this guy's not good. So if Tyler Loop is good, we're set. I feel like that's more like if we have a terrible kicker, it's going to impact more games than like us having a pretty good rookie safety, which I think we have a terrific rookie safety, a terrific rookie pass rusher, a terrific rookie kick returner / punt returner in LeJontay Wester. I know I assume you're a big fan of LeJontay Wester. I know you were rooting for the Buffs a lot last year, Joshua. Like there's a ton of guys that are going to make an impact, but I feel like my sneaky pick is Tyler Loop as the most impactful rookie, but that's only if Justin Tucker gets cut, which I feel like I'm expecting at this point. Which sucks, but is also good because Tucker wasn't as good last year. But is there anyone else that we didn't talk about that you think could have a pretty big impact?
I mean, you know what? Honestly, I was thinking Tyler Luke first. So I'm glad we was on the same wavelength. I'm glad someone said it. I mean, in all honesty, we Ravens fans that have just joined the flock of 2019 or 2018, you guys may not know the Ravens previously before then, where it did come down to sometimes Justin Tucker's foot of winning games, or that last kick. So being able to possibly have somebody in the facility that can take that role over, and whether it's reserves Tucker leg or come in and be who he needs to be. I'm not going to, because we've had great kickers in the facility outside of Billy Cundiff. So I definitely love the fact that I definitely love the fact that you brought him up, man. So I definitely feel like he can definitely help us out win those games when needed to be. I feel like another impactful rookie that we're not speaking on that we might miss is, I know we was talking about offensive linemen and Vince Carson.
Yeah, Carson Vince.
Carson Vince, okay. out of what is it, Texas A&M?
Alabama A&M.
Alabama. Okay, Alabama A&M. My
HBCU.
HBCU.
Yeah.
My HBCU guy. It was also, I believe, he was invited to the Reese Senior Bowl as
Mhm.
well, and he was
Yeah.
locking up some of the best edge rushers that was coming out this draft with him. I think he went up against Shamar Stewart, I believe.
Yes, he did.
And I think he went up against Mike Green. But let's talk about that Shamar Stewart, the young man that said, he wants to. I believe that's the one that wants to sack Lamar Jackson. Um, get behind, get behind everybody else that's trying to sack him, young man. But he handled him. He handled him. And he could play the left, he could play the right. I think he's more dominant on that left side. I know we've talked about Ronnie Stanley possibly retiring or maybe leaving us. And shout out to Ronnie for being healthy all last year. I'm not on some good. I hope we get another Pro Bowl season out of him once again. But at the same time, I know we love to get our late round guys that we can develop. I feel like he can eventually become a household name and actually even contribute, maybe even take the role of Arthur Jones last year, being that swing tackle that we need. Because I shout out to Todd, the type of offense he ran, the big back formations, the big boy formations, it came in handy. Derrick Henry is hungry, and we still got him. We still got him behind some more bigger bodies, bigger, younger, fresher bodies. Um, I definitely feel like we're going to see him get some PT a lot uh, with the formations that we use on the opposite side of the ball.
Yeah, and I also think just if any injury were to happen, like we would need a backup tackle. I feel like I'm actually pretty confident in our rookies, both from Emory and Carson Vincent. I'll throw out one more name, Teddy Buchanan. I think there's a chance he
Mm,
wins that starting will spot over Trenton Simpson because of his tackling and his pass coverage ability. I think he's more instinctual to play that linebacker position.
yeah,
Trenton Simpson kind of played all over while he was at Clemson, just needs a little bit more time. Super athletic, like freaky athlete. But I feel like Teddy Buchanan, that was a big weakness for the Ravens was covering those tight ends because Roquan, as good as Roquan Smith is, his
that's,
weakness is he's not great
yeah,
in pass coverage.
yeah,
And so there were times where we are like, hey, let's put a corner and they're going to play our Tampa. And for people that don't know, Tampa two safeties over top. The Tampa is the high coverage, basically backer that's covering that deep middle part of the field. And we did that, I want to say, against the Buffalo Bills. We put Brandon Stevens on in that spot on like 3rd and 20. And Brandon Stevens is going, whoop, whoop, oh man, the guy got 15 yards behind him.
Oh
Oh
man,
no. Like those were the type of plays where like, we needed a pass coverage backer. We played against a lot of really good tight ends. Cleveland just drafted another really good tight end. I really liked Harold Fannin Jr. Obviously the Chiefs have Travis Kelce. We don't want to have to just I hate having to stick Kyle Hamilton on the tight end all the time. Let him
true,
play other spots. Let
true,
Malachi Starks play other spots. Having a pass coverage backer, I think is gonna be really valuable for us. And I think it'll help out a lot. But overall, I think there's a lot of impact players.